Good morning, Facebook fam. What's going on? It's your girl, neo soul recording artist Lahla-Hadiya, and we are back again. The weather couldn't stop us for another episode of Morning Tea with Mommy. Let me get her on. I was about to say how y'all doing, but let me get my mom on. She always hates when I do that, and she doesn't get to see the hearts and stuff. So hold on. Hey,
Hey girl,
how
what's
are
up?
you?
Good
Feel
morning,
like
good
you in
morning,
a
good
safari.
morning.
I know it's raining, but
Yes, we're getting plenty of water.
she in Australia.
Let me put out the buckets.
What's going on?
Hi everybody, how's everybody doing today?
I'm
It
gonna
is
let her
still
say
a,
it. You said
it's still a beautiful
you ain't
day.
been doing it. Let me see those thumbs ups, those hearts, those happy faces. I got
Yeah,
her
I
on and
see
she
some
didn't even
new
say it.
faces.
Got her on, she
I'm
didn't
like
even say it.
I'm like romper rom. I see little Johnny, I see little Susie. Let's see who else is out there.
She did not. Lord have mercy. Y'all remember Romper Room though? Y'all remember Romper Room when the lady? I
Oh
thought
my
she was a
goodness.
little crazy when I got older. She talking. That looked like a tennis racket that she was talking through.
This is not a tennis racket. It is as a matter of fact, you gave it to me. It's a fan.
I know what it is.
You know, it gets really hot in the studio.
So I'm trying to do five things at the same time because we were trying to get on, and I don't know if it was the weather or what, but I was having issues with Skype. So
Yeah,
I
I
have
was
to
getting all
connect
kinds
to
of
it.
messages over here.
I have to connect to it before I go live so that I can, call her and people that I need to call. So I had to get that connected. But we here. It is raining. I got my
We're
office
here.
door open.
Thank God we're here.
Gorgeous. It's gorgeous. I'm saying like it's gorgeous outside.
It is raining. It is pouring down.
But I only
But you
see
know,
two hearts, so I see two hearts. Y'all not feeling good this morning? Cause I could have sworn if I swore, but I don't. I
look,
said,
I know this is
let
good
me see
sleeping.
those thumbs ups, those hearts. Did I not do my heart correctly? Those
Let me
hearts,
put my
those
glasses
happy faces.
on.
Let me see you guys are good. That you are ready to get your day started. Maybe that was what stopped you from throwing up the hearts because y'all not ready to get your day started. That you're ready
Yeah,
to
come
get your
on,
day
drink
started.
some
That you're
drink
happy
some
to be
tea. Come on, have some
alive
tea with us.
even in the midst of the storm. It's not even storming, it's just raining, even in the midst of the rain. And that's just an
And
amazing gift
feel
in
the
itself.
rain.
That's an amazing look. Y'all got her singing. We don't usually get to get her to sing, but she gave y'all a little bit.
I feel
Even in the
good.
midst of the rain,
Yes. Come
which
on,
is a
guys. Get
blessing.
a cup of tea
For all
and
those who feel
come
me.
on back.
I don't have my tea. I have my this is my special juice. Is Wait a minute, let me clarify. It's not that.
Yes,
Um
please clarify.
yeah, I'm not one of those. This is
Please.
like my little dietary thingy.
Oh my goodness.
Diet. I'm on
You
diet.
and your mini me.
I'm skinny fat. I'm on a diet.
Oh my goodness. No way.
Yes, I'm on a diet.
Well, just for those, this is a good time for you guys to tune in because there's been an alert in our area that is asking everybody to stay in. If you don't have to go out, please don't go out because there is a flash flood warning, and we don't want anybody, have to swim out, you know, because it's pretty bad. It's been raining pretty much most of the night, I think.
Yes,
I
it sounded good to me.
Yeah, the few times I actually slept quite well last night. Maybe that's why, because it
Me
was
too. For
raining.
once I didn't the Lord did not wake me up in those wee hours of the morning that he usually wakes
Yeah,
me up. He let
but
me rest.
same here.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. As a matter of fact, when I did wake up, my alarm is set for 5:45, but I woke up at 5:30 and I asked Alexa, well, I asked her, what time is it? And she said 5:30. I'm like, oh, good. I got 15 minutes more to sleep. So I didn't really go back to sleep. I just lay there and meditated and just thought about things, you know, good
Yes,
things.
it's crazy because today's topic, right? And so it's so weird that it would rain today. Um, while we're getting ready to indulge in this topic of being the light, um, being the light, right? That it would rain. It's almost like he's giving us a chance to, like, just in case we were a little tarnished and dusted, it's raining all that away so that we can understand, get our lights cleaned off because we are the light that they'll see.
Absolutely.
And so
Absolutely.
I must be transparent. Those of you who look for the topic every day, every night around 10:30 ish, last night you didn't see it because
I thought it
um,
was just me.
no, you didn't see it, and I had this epiphany. I wrote a song. I've been writing like crazy, and this is like my sixth song that I've written in the last 2 weeks, and so I wrote this song, and I was inspired. I was holding our youngest baby girl, and I was just looking at her or whatever, and just started like thinking of all the things that she would become when she actually grows up or whatever, and I just started singing, and so she was looking up at me laughing, and she starts bopping like she is like the music like sponge in our house out of all the children, and everyone who knows our children know they are all musically inclined. But this one right here, as soon as the beat drops, she just
That's because she's
there.
been here before.
She
She's
is
an
an
old
old
lady.
soul. She's an old soul, and so I just started singing, and so then it just it spiraled into a song. So I wrote a song last night, and I have some
Oh,
equipment up in my office that my husband put up here, so I can write when I want to and record. And so I wrote me a song, and so after I wrote everything, one of the phrases that I kept saying was, "So you got to keep your head held high because you are the light they'll see."
ah.
So yeah, I can't
How is that for a sign?
get out what it is
Look.
because I'm not. I didn't even lay
Well,
it
I
down
didn't
yet.
write a sign. You see my
Did
light
she? I
shining?
was wondering. I thought there was some problems going on with
You
your
thought,
lighting. I was like, it's time to change that thing,
did you
Mama.
see my light shining?
Okay,
My
I'm
light
with you
is
now. At first, I was like, I'm trying to like talk to get a big eye so she can understand something
yes,
going
my light
on.
is shining.
Wait a minute. Actually, that's my light this shine. We're not. This is
Okay,
not
see,
Shade
I
Friday, but
wasn't even going
you.
there.
I
Okay.
so I was. We did some deep cleaning this Saturday, and we were sterilizing our house and our living room because we've been bringing my mom over every now and again just to get out of the house. Feel like she going somewhere, but it's just our house. And so we've been outside, and then we transitioned into the movie room because we have all leather in there, so it's just easier for me to wipe down and sanitize and everything. Even though it's just us in the house, I'm just precaution. I'm taking precautionary measures or whatever with my mom. And so we did some deep cleaning just so she can transition from the movie room into the living room. And
Make me think
so
I'm going somewhere.
while she was in there, while she was in there, I showed her it was Sunday. Was it Sunday?
It was just this
It
past
was Sunday.
Sunday, yes.
While we were in there, I showed her this little light, this little gadget that I got. I don't even know how to describe it because I had it for all of like 30 seconds before I showed her. And
That's her
she
version.
left with it. And it wasn't until that evening we were on the phone, we were on a video call, and she pulled it out, and I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" She done stole my light. So if I'm not shining while we talking about this, you are the
I'll
light they'll
shine it
see.
on you.
It's because she took my light.
There you go.
If she's shining extra hard, it's because she got my light and her light. Just so y'all know. So, Cautious is good. It sounds like fun watching movies together. Yes, well all the time. We're not watching movies. Sometimes we're just talking. Like, I grew up in a household where um, sometimes we just turn the TV off and we would just talk and have organic fellowship, which was just talking.
Oh, yeah. We have a lot of those.
Hey,
Yeah.
there he is, Mr. Peace in the morning. Stanton, what's going on with you?
Hey, Mr. Peace.
Full moon is in energy, yes. So let's get into the topic. You are the light they'll see. And so I'll go back to, the story that I was giving you in regards to um, the inspiration and the writing that I did last night, which transitioned into a whole entire song, and it's a whole entire mood. And it's basically about my song is basically about my children, and just kind of talking them through their life, and the fact that they were purposed um, for a greater thing that is happening, that God is doing in the world. And so was just sharing with them through this song that many people will be astray. Many people will be astray, and many people will actually be positioned to see your light, like, because God works simultaneously and He positions us in just the right spot for just the right reason, at just the right time. There'll be many people that will be positioned to see their light. And so, in order for them to see their light, as God has positioned them to be in certain places in time, it is important for them to understand that they are a light, and to connect and stay connected to the Creator who powers their light so that they can shine. And it's a really deep song. Most people who know my children know that they're very old souls, and so in there I go in to talk about how ancient they are. Ancient meaning, their physical bodies are yet those of children, but their spirits are represent and encompass old souls, old spirits that are very wise. And sometimes we can be filled with so much wisdom. However, the lens that we have, our spiritual eyes, are so dull and dim and covered that we don't see that we are the light. We don't see clear enough from the light that God shines within us, that He has instilled in us so much wisdom that is necessary to be spread out throughout the world in our time and in our journey, in our life. So the song was basically just talking about that, and just telling them that they must keep their head held high, because through their intellect, through their brain, through their mouths, through their spirit, through their eyes, sometimes when you look at somebody, you can see the spirit in them. And so if their head is hung low, it's difficult for people to see that light. And so they must keep their head held high, because they are the light that people will see. And my dad used to say a lot of times, he used to say, sometimes we'll be the only Jesus that people ever get to see. We'll be the only God that people will ever get to see, and not putting us in the place of God. Understand where I'm going. Not putting us in the place of God, however, and rather understanding that we are made in His image. And if we understand it and we connect back to the Father, because we all know we were born in sin. But if we connect back to our Creator, once we connect back to Him, then we're a reflection, a direct reflection of who He is, His love and His grace and His mercy. And so, just the interaction that people will have with us through our journey in life will be the reflection of God, the only reflection of God that they'll ever get to see. And so, what we do with that is very important and should not be taken lightly, and should be handled with much wisdom and care. And so, basically, in a song, and everybody knows I'm a little deep and analytical with my wording when I'm writing. And so, yeah, in a nutshell, in a song, that's what I came up with. And so I'm basically just pouring into them, and not really pouring into them, but using my light to shine on them so that they can see those qualities and those things within themselves. And so I'm speaking life, but speaking on the life that God has already instilled in them, if that makes sense. So I'm just calling out what I see as my light is shining on my babies. And so that's, birthed the change of topic. And so I'm glad I hadn't posted it yet because that's what I wanted to talk about. Um, we are the light that they'll see. And so, we talked yesterday about this is not a drill. And this, we are absolutely in the real thing. We're in the real thing. We're living in the days leading to our Creator coming back to take us to a new home, And so while we're in that space, we know that so many things will be taking place. We know if you are a child of the King, that it's a spiritual warfare, not a war with us. And so when we understand that, then we can stop being at war with ourselves and then each other, and take our hands off of it and just be the light so that God can fight the battle. Um, because through his son, the victory has already been won. The darkness doesn't understand that yet. The demonic spirits don't get it, but the victory has already been won. However, um, in this war, in this spiritual warfare, and this spiritual fight, um, God is going to be the one doing the fighting for us, and we just shining our light so that all those who are connected to Him can see the way to stand under His covering. And so, um, yeah, that's where we're at. So, not to, because I could talk all day about this, I had to like stop in my song so I could make it an actual song length, because there were so many things that I could say um, to my children to shine my light on them so they could see their power button so they can turn that light on and let it shine for those to see. Because, as I said in the beginning, God is very strategic in how He positions us in life, and there are people being positioned, um, not even knowing that they're being positioned, but just the mere call on God, just the mere asking that God would lead the way, just the mere cry out for Him to cover them and be in the midst. They are positioned by God to see your light. And so, if you don't understand that you are the light, then you won't be able to shine for them to see you, and for them to see the reflection of God and know that they are under His covering. And so, it's necessary for us to know that. So, if you didn't know, you are the light they'll see. So, be the blessing that you are, because that's a blessing. That's a blessing. And I'm going to stop for a minute and see if my mom has some words of wisdom.
Wow.
Yeah, writing.
I can hardly wait for that masterpiece to come out. I know you, that's your thing is writing. In fact, you and your brother, prolific writers, and I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm still waiting, like you're waiting on this.
Right. Somebody said I'm getting excited hearing the song. The more you talk about it, it's
Yeah, I want to
like
hear the song. I
it's,
want to hear the song.
I can't
Um,
hear it yet though.
but you know what? That's a key in my life. Is light. It's a light. You know, light. Um, I believe in. Got to get the effects. I believe in letting my light. Yes, I'm rubbing it in. I have your light. Yes, it's because of I let my light shine wherever I go. No, no discretion, whatever. I don't have to ask permission from anybody but God. God shines his light on me. I shine my light on others. Um, it takes me back to one of the very first songs that I learned as a child. Um, Jesus wants me for a sunbeam to shine for him each day. And then later on, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. So, light for me is key and it's crucial. Um, I believe in letting my light shine, and through that light, others will shine. That's all I want to do. This side of my life, that's all I want to do is to let that light shine, and especially on days like this, where people tend to go into their dark place. That light is shining. If your light is shining, this liquid sunshine is just par for the course. Okay. So letting your light shine, and Live mentioned with her kids, and as she's doing with her children, this is something that I always did with my two bookends. Uh, she and her brother, um, was to let my light shine and encourage them to allow their light to shine. You know, you don't need anyone's sanctioning, no one but God, because He's the one that gave it to you anyway. And speaking of which, I've been sharing these confidence cards that from one of the organizations that I'm affiliated with, came out with some confidence cards. So each day I pull from the stack. It's like a deck of cards, and I pull from the stack at random. Sometimes I'll pick and choose, but I'll pick something that will add to my confidence. And the card today says, I no longer compromise for people and things that don't authentically align with where I'm going. In other words, I don't let anyone steal my shine or take my shine from me. And I hear that, used to hear that a lot not only when I was working, but even now, some people allow situations to take from their brilliance, their light. And it shouldn't be that way, because if people can control your attitude, they can determine your destiny. And I say that, used to say that a lot when I was teaching, because, just take, for example, case in point, um, someone, you come in, you're bubbly and happy, and someone says something, does something, looks at you a certain way, and those of you who are still working, I'm pretty sure that you've had those days. And what happens? You immediately go into that defensive state or that dark place where you want to, you want to get back at that thing, that negative that came towards you. So you have allowed that person to change your attitude,
Yeah.
and therefore they're changing your destiny, which means it's going to shortchange you in getting to where you hope and want to be. I don't let nobody but God make that decision in my life, for real, for real. And even more so now, as I'm retired, as I am living my life like it's golden, I refuse. I refuse to step down to the enemy. And I encourage every one of you to do that same thing. Refuse to let anyone take your joy, take your shine. It's yours. It's yours. It's yours. Take ownership to it. Let your light shine wherever you go. And as you can see from Lahla-Hadiya, that recording artist who writes songs in the middle of the night or in the wee hours of the morning, that light is shining. Anytime you come up with those creative juices, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
First, I want to give a shout out to one of our kings on here, Amoba. I believe he's in Israel, and this is like the third time that he has connected with us in our morning tea with mommy family. So he's saying his connection is a bit bad today. I can imagine you all the way in Israel. So,
Yeah, yeah.
but thank you for joining.
Thank you.
It's
We're
a
so
blessing
grateful.
that to have you here, and hopefully, you're able to take some of what we talk about here, or all of what we talk about here in our morning tea with mommy family.
Spread a little
Spread
sunshine.
it,
Yes.
spread it, and be that
It's
light.
raining there.
Be that light. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out whether.
What's the weather like?
And yes, there is. Remember, the sun is always shining, even when you can't see it. And he reigns, like
Absolutely.
he reigns.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
The sun
The
reigns.
same sun, the same moon, the same stars. It's there for you. It's there for the taking. It's there for, us to take advantage of. And just, we have to spin off from that sunshine. Even on a day like today, let your light shine. Don't crawl up in a corner and minimize yourself based on what you see, because what you see is not oftentimes what is. And you make that determination in your life to let your light shine. Don't compromise. Don't
Absolutely.
compromise.
And the dot that I added on here being the blessing that you are. Understand that you are a blessing. Like we all were. We talked about this seasons ago, as far as us all being a part of the body. And in order for it to function effectively and properly, we all have to, operate in the part that we represent um,
Abs-
of the body. And so it's necessary for us to see the light that shines within. It's necessary for us to see that so that we can properly direct it and shine it, where it needs to go, because and be that light signal, be that because there are people that are yearning. There are people that are yearning and desperate. Um, and when you are in a state of um, despair, it's like you're, like last result. Like this is life or death. They are desperate um, to know about God. A lot of people are not going to say it. A lot of people won't say it, and some will even, carry that facade of, um, of that false thought of God not even being real. They're not being a creator. But there are so many people who are desperate, and because of fear and because of the time spent being in so much darkness, um, it's hard to it's hard to see um, the connection that God wants to have with them. It's hard to see um, that there is a creator who loves them and has purpose for their life even, and that he wants so much to give to them more and more and more life. And so because our God is so amazing, he works, we always say he's omnipresent, he's everywhere at the same time, he's omnipotent, and he's all knowing, he's all seeing, he works simultaneously. But I wonder sometimes if we really understand the power of that, and if we know all of these things go together, if we know that we are parts of the body, um, that while God is allowing light to be shown upon you so that you can see His glory, and you may be a little more mature in your spiritual walk with Him. You may be a part of the body that is a little more vital for the other parts to even survive. And so, as He is shining light onto you from another even more vital part that is necessary for you to survive, you have to understand that once you see the light and once you see yourself for who you really are and whose you really are and why you are, then it's time to turn that light switch on, because there are people that God has positioned in their outcry, in their outpour, in their despair of wanting to know more, wanting to know if he's real, wanting to know if, he really sees them, wanting to know if he really loves them enough to keep them covered, to save them from themselves. He's positioning these people. And when he lines them up and positions them, you got to be in position. You got to be in position. And not only do you have to be in position, and that's important for you to be in position, it's important for you to know that you have a light. And once you realize that you have a light, you need to make sure the light switch is turned on. Because if that light that was shown on you for you to see in the darkness that you were in, if that light wasn't on, then it would be hard for you to find your way back to your creator. And so understanding that and understanding how you got to where you are, there are so many people who are desperate, who are struggling. And remember, in a struggle, there's movement forward with resistance. So they're moving, they're struggling. They're not at a standstill. They're actually struggling because they're trying to find the light in the darkness that is surrounding them. And that was one of the things that I mentioned in my song. As I see my children and as I see their light, they are the hope. They are the hope, even when darkness brings me to my knees. Even when the darkness surrounded me, even when those satanic forces beat down on me, even when they bring me to my knees and I'm crawling, I'm still moving, I'm in the struggle. When I see my seeds and I see what God has implanted in them, they're my hope, even when the darkness brings me down to my knees. And so you got to understand what's happening in this circle of life. Everybody's putting that in their song, even Beyonce, and what I will say about that, there is a circle of life. There is a concept that God has created, even before you were created, and you are a part of it. Whether you choose to operate in the gift, the blessing of being a part of it, or not, because that's the gift. The gift is, when God offers grace, in our Bible study discussion yesterday with our children, we talking about grace. And when God offers grace, it's an unmerited mercy. It's favor. And so, in the belief of knowing that, God had a son, that he created to send down, to gather all of our sins and die, and for the purposes of making sure that those sins died. We have to learn how to walk in the fact that God extended grace. And so a lot of us still operate in a self-condemning way, where we're in judgment mode. And in that judgment mode, it's really a reflection of the fact that we judge ourselves, and it reveals the insecurities that we have within ourselves. Instead of just walking in the gift of having grace, we see grace as an expectation, of, if I fall, or if I do sin, I have God's grace. And one of my children gave the example of being in a classroom and going to back to school night, and the teacher says, "Well, I do offer extra credit." And so are you the student that says, okay, she has extra credit, so I'm not going to push as hard, because the expectation is, if you fall, and if you don't give forth your best effort, then you can make it up later on, because she offers grace. That's what that extra credit is. That's grace, because that's something that isn't ordinarily in place, and it's to help you boost you back to be your 100% self. Boost you back to 100. And so when you look at the grace that God has extended to us, the grace isn't for us to walk with the expectation that we have a license to sin, or we have a license to turn our backs and ignore what it is that God has purposed for us, because we have grace. Grace is a reminder that I need you to keep pushing, and I need you to give me 100% of you, so that you can fight for the cause, and that we can, that this thing can operate in the way that I intended for it to operate. And should you slip, I offer grace. And so I feel like, again, we've been talking about changing mindsets, walking in our purpose, and understanding that, we all are a part of the circle of life. And so we all have a light, that shines, and we all have a gift, which is our blessing, to even say that we have a gift to offer, within the body. We have a function. So our gift is our function. That's our function. That's our purpose. That's our purpose for how we operate. So we do have an operation within the body. So we matter. We are necessary. And so understanding that and knowing that, it's it's kind of hard not to walk in and be the blessing that you are, once you realize all of that. But you got to realize all of that. And when you realize all of that, you got to flick the light on, because somebody else flicked the light on. And because they flicked the light on, you were able to see clear, your path. And so you're on someone's path, because God has also positioned you. He's also positioned you to be in a place where, when He shifts this person over here, your lives automatically intersect for a season, for a reason, and you are necessary to shine on that part of their path, so that they can see their way clear. And there'll be many people along our paths that have the purpose of shining their light, so that we can see our way clear, because there'll be stumbling blocks in the way. There'll be things that are set up for our defeat and our failure, to cause us to fall. And so that we all are able to win, and the body ultimately wins, because we're connected, is necessary for us to understand that we have a light, and know that it needs to shine. And so we need to make sure that we're turning it on and being the blessing, that we were purposed to be, and walking in the gift of grace, and knowing and being thankful that it's there, but not using it as a crutch and an expectation, so that we have a license to stray, so that we have a license to kind of do our own thing, use it as a blocker, so that we can go to the path that we want to be on, use it as a marker, as a bookmark. you know that's not what it was meant for. That's not what it was meant for. And so that's what I got, man. That's what I
Preach.
that's what I got.
That's okay. Hey, one of my sayings, and I adopted from my brother. Rest. So it is what it is.
Anger
It is
towards
what it
others
is.
will dry up your bones, so do not go there. Proverbs 17:22. A joyful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. Absolutely. And that hit deep with me just now. I'll have to read that again. Anger towards others will dry up your bones. A joyful heart, Proverbs said, is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. And that's personal for me, because even with, and if you guys didn't know already, I'm very transparent, and I'm transparent with you all, based on the walk that God has my family on, and me as an individual. And then I'm transparent, with my family, in regards to the walk, and the path that He has me on with you all. And so, Satan is he's busy, which we know. He's cunning and witty, And the characteristics that we possess, that we have because we're made in our creator's image, um, if we're not careful to utilize them the way God intended for us to utilize them, then we'll have a tendency to use them the way we think they should be used. And that can cause for us to develop animosity, for us to begin to judge, for us to begin to condemn, and for us to lose ourselves within ourselves. And once we do that, Satan has us in the palm of his hand now. And he's, operating, he's slinging us here and there, and it dries up the waters, the clear waters that flow within us, the clear flow of life that God intended, to surround our bones, to keep them lubricated, so that we can have power for the course and be able to move effectively. And if we're not careful, we can be engulfed in the trickery of the enemy, because the enemy comes to steal, kill, and destroy. He deceives, and he steals our joy. He steals our peace, so that he can knock us out the way. Because just like in the chess game, the pawns, they're disposable to the opposing team. They try and get to the king. They try and get to the king. And so, if we understand that, then we can guard ourselves and gird ourselves appropriately, always surrounding yourself with the word, always surrounding yourself with the word. And it goes deeper than just having a Bible. um it goes deeper than just having a Bible. Get connected, directly to God. Ask him questions about the words that you see. Whatever word you pick up, if you cannot connect with your creator and have him decode that for you, then you probably had the wrong book. And I say that because I want to be intentional about how I speak and commune with my fellow brothers and sisters and kings and queens, understanding that we all have a different walk, and some of that shows and reveals that we're not all on the same frequency in regards to what we study and and what we believe to be truth. And so, truth can be verified, truth can be fact checked, and still pan out to be truth. And so, wherever you are, whether you're Christian, Muslim, Catholic, whether you're in the Bible, Quran, whatever word you're in, if you're connected to the Creator, He should be able to decode it for you, in order for you to live out what it is that He purposed for you to be, so that you can properly execute your role, and your functionality in the body. And if that is not happening, then you might be in the wrong book, or you might not be connected. And so it's necessary for you to do that, because again, we are the light that they'll see, and that we never know who that they is. That they could be all the way in Israel. That they for Israel could be all the way over here in Temple Hills, Maryland. So we have to be intentional about finding out who we are, whose we are, and our functionality, so that we can dust off the lens, so we can see ourselves clearly and be able to find the light switch, flick it on, because we're necessary. We're necessary for the functionality of the Bible as the body as a whole. If that makes sense. Hope that makes sense.
Amen.
Let me see. It's like a line.
Amen.
I like this image of Christian leaders. There are leaders that will be shepherds to God's flock, keep them safe with the staff, and bring them to water for them to grow. Yeah, I believe that. Ask God for those opportunities daily. He will definitely set you up to shine your light where most necessary. And it's necessary, and that's why it's necessary to keep a constant line of communication with God. And when we when we keep that line of communication, it's not saying that distractions and roadblockers aren't thrown in our path or set up in our path for us to slip and trip. But I think of it when, I'm holding my baby girl's hand and we're walking, and, she's not yet two. So, her little legs, sometimes it's difficult to, get over certain rocks that I'm able to step over, right? But I'm able to step over them and clear them perfectly. But she may not be able to. But if I'm holding her hand and she keeps her hand inside of mine, and I'm able to grip her because she puts her hand there. If I'm holding her hand, even when she stumbles, she doesn't hit the ground because I'm holding her up. But she has to keep her hand in my hand so that I can hold her. If she pulls away, there's a possibility that she'll hit the floor, hit the ground. And there's a possibility if she hits the ground, whatever made her trip can cause other damage to her physically and even internally. You hit something with blunt force, it's a possibility that it can cause internal damage, even if you don't see a break or tear of the skin. But if she keeps her hand in my hand, I can hold her. And even when we're walking, because I can clear the rock, if she can't clear the rock and she should trip, I still have her. And so I think about my relationship with my creator, with God. If I don't pull away at times because I think that I can clear this, that the path is clear now and I don't need him to hold me, and I pull my hand away, I may come upon a distraction. I may come upon a boulder. I may come upon a demeanor, a spirit, a person that is set up to get me off my game and to shift my focus. And even though I see them, I may think that I can overtake that spirit that is coming against me, but I can't clear it. But my creator, my God can. But I've let go of his hand. So understanding that if I keep my hand in his hand, even if I can't clear it, he can. And so as I step over it, if I should stumble, if I should trip, he still has me. So however the cookie crumbles, however the rock shifts, I'm still good because I have my hand in his hand. And it's necessary for us to understand that. Yes, Sister Compton. How are you, Miss Mary Compton? It is so important to hold to God's unchanging hand. Everything that is in our path that God sees is there. Sometimes He'll move it, and sometimes He won't. But it's important for us to, if we always hold His hand, if we always keep that connection and communicate with Him, because I'm bigger than my baby girl. I can see the curb before she can see the curb as a blocker. Before she can see the curb as a roadblock, I can see the curb. So if we're in relation and she's holding my hand, I'm like, baby girl, here's the curb. Get ready to lift your leg. We got to stay connected to him. We got to stay in constant communication with him, um, so that we can clear the rocks, because he can clear them. And so if they're too high for us, um, or if they're so strategically put, that it gives the illusion that we can clear it, but we really can't. If we should trip, if we have our hand in his hand, we can't fall. Um, and just like I spoke that to you, there are people who are desperate. People who are desperate. I see we're at the end, um, but there are people who are desperate, and we are the light that they'll see. God has positioned them because they're desperate. And they're asking and they're begging and they're calling and they're pleading, for God to show them that He's real, for God to show them that they matter to Him, that He loves them in the midst of the darkness. And so it's time for us to recognize that we are the light, we are a light, and to flick on the switch and be the blessing that we are. That's all I got. And I'm done.
So, what is your source? What is the takeaway that I have? What is your light? What is the source of your light? And are we taking advantage of that source? No matter what you call your creator, are we relying on that source and knowing that you don't have to do anything alone? And not just times like these with the pandemic, but anytime. And this, because this too will soon pass, as things have passed and have passed before us. Um, so, what is your source? Are we taking advantage of that source? And not only are you allowing that source to power you up, but are we passing that power on to someone else, to the world? Being in the world, but not of the world.
Yeah, that's
We love you, love
that's
you,
the
love you.
word.
As always,
I love
there's not
you.
enough time.
Yeah, I know she love you.
He loves you even more. So we look forward to you guys continuing with your comments. Just send them in. I was having some technical difficulties on yesterday with my laptop. So, but I do go back in and I will be catching up and, sharing some bits of light. Um, so don't hesitate. Keep those comments coming. Um, and as they say, comment, subscribe, you know, um, we're always here for you.
Yes. I may not
We're
be
here.
able to video chat everybody. Some people be trying to video me, but I be
Yeah,
talking to like multiple people at the same time. So as to always give my time and attention to
absolutely.
them along with my family. So I may not be able to respond to video messages, but if you send me a text message, I can.
Yeah, one of or both of us will eventually respond, and that's what we're looking for. Um, a connection with us. We're family. We are family. So let's stay connected. Stay encouraged. Let your light shine. And take advantage of your source of light.
And look
God
out
bless.
for the Just Us the Movement album. That song will be on there. This song that this all came from, derived from. It'll be on there. Just keep looking, keep your ear to the ground. All right. It's that's done. We done. It's over.
Love you with the
They
love of
done.
the Lord.
God loves us. Understand that, know it, receive it, walk in it. Until tomorrow, bright early 7:30. It's been real. It's been awesome. It's your girl, Neil Soul recorded artist Lahla-Hadiya, wrapping up another segment of Morning Tea with my mommy. All right, holla at your girl.